The lecturer today, Mr. Mabin. Mr. Mabin is a graduate from NYU Engineering School, and though he's an engineering major, actually he's an expert on Chinese opera. So today he's going to talk about the storyline of the phoenix return to its nest, the typical, very classical comedy of errors. And also, I would like to say that Mr. Ma is a young leader of the NICOS. And he is the president of the NICOS Youth Troop, and he's also the general manager of NICOS. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's lecture. Now I'm passing on the mic to Mr. Ma.
Good evening, everybody. Since we have a lot of Chinese speakers here, so I also introduce our translator, Ms. Yu Tong. So this will be a bilingual talk. And we don't have Xiaodi here because she will be on the 7 o'clock NBC News, the National Broadcasting Company. Yeah, she will be on that news. So after this talk, I will watch that news. Okay, so let's start. Thank you. 这个讲这个风寒潮的时间其实也不多，因为一般我这个讲座一般都3个小时以下，我是不会结束。
Usually, Mr. Ma gives speech about Chinese opera for like more than 3 hours. So today is like special, so we don't have like a lot of time, but still hope you all will enjoy today's lecture.
为什么这个每到一个演出前，我就要介绍这个一个戏？因为我们过去有句话叫“生疏熟悉”，这得解释一下，就是你要是看那种书啊，或者看小说啊，文学这些，要是看生的。但是听戏呢，像音乐剧啊、歌剧啊这些都要听熟的。如果在座有音乐剧、歌剧粉丝，你就会理解。
The reason that we have this lecture today is because that we want everyone to familiarize with our opera. There's a saying in Chinese, we say 生疏熟悉, meaning that if you're reading a novel or a literature art work and you might want no one to tell you what's going on before you read it. But then as for the opera, like the xi means opera in Chinese, and for this part, usually we like to know as much as we can before we actually appreciate the opera, so that we know what's going on and we know how to like critique the opera.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, if you're a fan of the musical or any kind of opera, you will feel much better that you are very familiar with that when you see it in the theater. 那么这个说这凤还巢呢，得从哪说起呢？得从梅兰芳先生说起。大家知道，梅兰芳先生在1929年访美获得了巨大的成功。去年呢，他的儿子梅葆玖先生又带他访美。今年梅葆玖先生的弟子梅派第3代传人萧迪又被我们表演社请到了这个来演出。是梅派的3代的艺术都在美国演出。
Speaking of this opera, we will need to mention about Mr. Mei Lanfang because he visited the United States in 1929, and then last year, right? And his son visited the United States again. And this year we have Miss Xiaodi. She is the disciple of his son, and we can see that the 3 generations of the Mei, they're coming to the United States to spread the art of Chinese opera.
Yeah, the Mei Pai we call it Mei School. That's like a style. So he teaches all these students and his son opera. That's the basic start. 那么这凤还巢这个是什么戏呢？其实这个戏并不是一个明清源远流传下来的老戏，这个戏是1928年首演其实也算是一个新戏，但是呢，它也是基于一些明清传奇改编的1928年第一次演出的这个戏，也是当然为什么要从梅兰芳先生讲起？因为这就是梅兰芳先生他们创编排练所以28年演出这个戏，29年到了美国。
Speaking of this opera, so the reason that we mentioned Mr. Mei Lanfang is because this opera itself is actually made for, tailor-made for Mr. Mei Lanfang in 1928. So that's why in 1929, Mr. Mei visited the United States for this opera.
那么咱就大概简单介绍一下剧情。大家知道，今天我讲的这个题目叫 A 面和 B 面啊，这个涉及到这几个人物。那怎么叫 A 面和 B 面？就看那磁带。
Yep, and so now we're gonna introduce the topic of today. So Mr. Ma is gonna talk about the A side and the B side. And so why so? So he's gonna talk about.
Why do you stand a little bit closer? 这个因为这个剧情除了一个女主角以外，加上女主角，一共有8个人物，大家很快就能熟悉这8个人物。这8个人物是这边是4个人是一家子。那边还有4个其他的人，分别是元帅的这个大太监，然后一个小生，一个小花脸。这2个小花脸呢，后来都这2个年轻的男性后来都成为了他们的这个家里的女婿，所以等于是4个人一家子，加上2个人，再加上2个年岁大的外人，就是8个人。
So including the main cast, which is the role Miss Shelby is playing tomorrow. And there are in total 8 cats, the main cast and the supporting cast. And interestingly, they are 2 families, so 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. And that's why we call today's lecture the A side, the B side.
这个大家也有时候会有一个刻板的印象，就是说，我们这个有那么一句话脸谱化，就说人物有时候他是一个在剧情里性格是单一的。但实际上，我们看到在很多的传统戏里，他的性格有2面性，这就是 A 面和 B 面。你看这些人物，这8个人物，我刚才谈到的，他在戏里都表现出了他先出来的时候是你对他的刻板印象，是他的对他的 stereotype。但是到后面随着剧情的发展，随着各种有意思的事情发生，你就看到他的性格的另一面，他的人性的另一面，然后就发生了很多喜剧的东西。这个喜剧不是刻意的去搞笑，而是它自然发生到那儿了，就非常非常的有趣。
Yep, so from the makeup of the Chinese opera artists, we can see that actually you might think there's a stereotype that they don't actually have a personality, or they only have like one personality. But then Ms. Ma is explaining that actually all the characters, they have actually different personalities, like the A side and also the B side. And as we proceed to appreciating the opera, we'll be able to see how they switch their personalities when they encounter different experiences.
是的。那么我们在看戏的过程当中，就说我们看这些人物都看什么？我们就要注意他们。当然，首先是大家应该有行当的知识，他们属于不同的行当。这边这一家子，先说主角这一家子，他有一个父亲，一个母亲，然后2个女儿，女儿一个丑一个俊。但是呢，这个他这母亲呢不是这个女主角的亲生之母，就等于这就是家庭矛盾的基本的根源。这父亲呢是一个老生，然后呢母亲是一个老旦，然后呢女主角当然是我们的这个青衣，然后他的姐姐是一个丑角。
Speaking of appreciating Chinese opera, we would definitely want to know more about the characters in the play. And so, like we said before, there are 2 families, and one of the family, there are 4 members. There's the father, there's the mother, and there are 2 daughters. One is very beautiful, and the other one is an ugly daughter. And interestingly, the mother is the stepdaughter, the stepmother of the beautiful daughter. So that's why in our press release we said this is a Chinese version of this.
这个在西方国剧也是这样，就是他有一个正妻，但是呢正妻这个本身长得也不好看，所以生的孩子也不好看，但是呢他就会有钱，他就会纳偏房，纳偏房呢生下漂亮的姑娘，但是他偏房又去世，生下了这么4口之家，所以他就形成这个矛盾。
So it's very dramatic because we can imagine their family. So we have the male, Mr. Cheng Pu, and he had a wife, but then their daughter is not very beautiful, and so that Mr. Cheng Pu is saying that okay, I'm gonna have another wife, the second wife, but then the second daughter is very beautiful, but we know that in the Chinese tradition, the first wife has much more power than the second wife, and so this actually is like what is causing the family conflicts, because the daughter of the powerful wife is actually the ugly one, while Chengpu plays favorite with the second daughter, who is the beautiful one.
但是这个基本知识咱不能解释太多，希望大家回去以后 please check on the Wikipedia about all the performers and the roles. It's very important about this part is whenever you know the knowledge about the styles of the roles, you can know how they sing, how they act, they have which part is their beauty part, what's the personality and character of. Yeah, it's this part. Don't need to translate.
Yeah.
所以呢，所以有了这个知识以后，我们反正就发生矛盾。发生矛盾是什么呢？这个老头看上一个漂亮小伙子，年轻的书生。年轻的书生呢，咱这个剧情呢大概解释啊，不要说的太细，明天大家还看戏。看上年轻书生，他就想让自己的这个漂亮的女儿嫁给他。结果呢，这个他当然老太太也看上这个年轻的书生，他就想让他自己，他偏心他的那个丑的大女儿，他想让他大女儿嫁给他。这时候出现的这个人物两面性是什么样？大家对这几个人第一印象就都出来了啊，一个漂亮姑娘，一个丑姑娘。但是到后面发生的事情，我们就能品出这几个人的人性的另一面。大家就会发现这个年轻貌美的小姐也是很有心机的。这个英俊潇洒的这个小帅哥、小书生，也是有他非常这个刚强固执的一面。然后这个两个丑呢，一个要娶了这个丑丫头的这个丑角朱千岁，他是一个有钱的贵公子。
Sure. Speaking of the family conflicts we discussed just now, so from the opera play, we see where the family conflicts come from. Because one day, well, the pillar of the family, Mr. Chengpu, he went to the countryside to just take a walk, and then he and his friend, they saw a young scholar. And at that moment, Mr. Cheng thought, oh, this young scholar, oh, he looks handsome, well, he's very talented. Maybe I can marry my second daughter, who is the beautiful daughter, to this young talented man. But then when he returned home and he talked about this issue with his wife was really, really angry, because she was like, oh, wait a moment, I don't think this makes sense, because your first daughter, who is the daughter of your first wife, is not yet married, and now you're arranging a marriage for a second daughter? I don't think this makes sense. And here we see like the family conflicts arises because of the marriage. And then speaking of the two sides, although we see on the stereotype side that, okay, so one of the daughters is beautiful, and then there's a young scholar, but later on we see that the beautiful daughter, actually, she has her own plans, and then the scholar, although he's a scholar, but then he has his own ethnicity, so these are the different like two sides we see.
这时候发生了3件大事，哪3件大事呢？这个本来是这个老头儿想把这个小帅哥留在家里，然后呢择日给他们俩人完婚。这时候发现3件事。本来你想啊，这要完婚了，当然咱今儿不用讲了，这戏也不用演了，没意思。发生3件大事。第一件事，这个大小姐冒充2小姐，半夜去调戏小帅哥。小帅哥受到了严重的惊吓啊！这么一个丑丫头，大半夜来吓唬我的，这个老头没安好心的啊！你这个把你的核算女儿嫁出去，嫁给我，连夜逃走了。这第一件大事。
So there are 3 big incidents happen in this opera play. As we see some audience, they are laughing already because the first one is very comic. When
it's because at this point, the average gentleman, he is already let this young man to stay at his home, and you want to hold value for them. And if that happens, then we don't have this show. It will be a very boring show.
So that's why this is an opera, right?
Yeah.
The stars.
Then 3 things happen.
And
The first thing.
Yeah, and we definitely do hope that this doesn't happen in the reality. And so the first incident is about so that the young scholar stayed at Mr. Cheng's home, and then at night when Kamal, like he's alone and he might be bored, and the ugly daughter is very thoughtful, and she was like, maybe I should go and talk to you. While nowadays we think like, oh yeah, sure, why not? But then at those days, like girls, like Chinese traditional girls, they have their traditional values, and they thought, well, I need to go with his future wife, so that this makes more sense. But then his future wife will say, no, I don't think so, because we're not yet married, so we're not gonna talk. And then the ugly daughter was like, okay, fine, then I'm gonna go and talk to him. But it still doesn't make sense, because I'm not his wife, and what if people like see us, and what are they gonna say? So maybe I should pretend to be my younger daughter, my younger sister, so that when we talk, and he's gonna think, okay, this makes more sense than talking to his future wife's sister instead of his future wife first. And then there she goes, and she pretended to be her younger sister to talk to the guy, but then the scholar was so afraid and so scared because he thought that the girl looked so ugly, and he even thought that she's a monster. And this is the first comic element, I think.
Yeah, we talked about more details. 第二件大事是什么呢？打仗。这个小伙子一跑呢，就去投军去了，然后就碰上了元帅和那个周将军那边，然后这个等于这老员外也被周上走了，等于这几个主要男性角色都被拉去打仗去了。那么家里剩下这几个，这第二件大事就是他正好有机会逃跑，他要是光跑，后边这个人也找不到，他正好跑到就投到军营去了，这几个人还在一块儿。
Yep, and just now we talked about the guy was really scared of the scholar because he was like, oh my gosh, this is a monster. And now I know why Mr. Chen arranged me a marriage, because he wouldn't be married off his own daughter if he didn't set up this trap for me. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna flee. But I have to find a reason to flee, because I can't just like disappear. And then this comes to the second incident, which Mr. Ma talked about just now, about the happening of the war. Because of the happening of the war, there's some wars happening in the southern part of China, and all the males basically they go and join the war. For example, Chen Hu, the family, and then we have the young scholar, Mr. Hu Ji. He was like, okay, this is a good excuse. I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna flee because I'm not gonna marry the monster. And I hate Mr. Chen because he sets up this trap for me.
好，第三件大事发生了，第三件大事发生了。他本来想让漂亮姑娘和这个帅哥结婚，结果老头儿一跑了，帅哥也跑了，这个漂亮的姑娘这头这边家里就是老太太做主，然后呢，这帅哥在路上碰见那个碰见这位主角，结果他就知道他逃婚了。他本来结婚这事儿就影响很大，结果知道这边逃婚了，所以呢，他说我干脆冒他的名，我去娶那漂亮姑娘。漂亮姑娘嫁进这边看，哟，那个帅哥来娶来了，好啊，我把我这丑姑娘嫁回去，结果就帮这个本来应该俩漂亮的配，变成俩难看的配。
Yep, so the third incident goes to technically, we would imagine that the beautiful daughter marries the young scholar, but then now that all the male go and join the war and we have only the females at home, and then so the pillar of the family becomes the first wife of Mr. Chen Fu. And now that on the way of Wu Ji fleeing to join the war, and he met another guy, and the guy was like, oh wait, where are you going? And Mr. Wu, of course, he's not going to say, I'm fleeing to join the war, I'm not going to marry a monster. And then he says, oh well, I'm going to join the war, and I'm going to marry Mr. Chen's daughter when I have some achievement. And then the guy the guy who Mr. Wu Ji met, who's actually a relative of the emperor, right? Sir Zhu, and Sir Zhu was like, oh, this is a great opportunity because all the male they've gone and joined the war. So now that I am gonna pretend to be Mr. Fuji, and I am gonna marry the beautiful daughter.
好，这个剧情讲到这儿，后边怎么就成为一个团圆结局呢？哎，我不解释了，明儿看戏了。
So now here is where we're gonna end. And how are all of these incidents gonna lead to a satisfactory, happy ending? You know, like Mr. Ma's gonna stop talking about ending and leave this part for all of you to appreciate the opera.
Even though I'm going to start as a comment tomorrow. 所以下面讲什么呢？下面讲的就是我们看戏都要看哪些啊，这才是我今天最想要说的这个部分。
So the following part, Mr. Ma is going to talk about the elements of appreciation in the Chinese opera.
Yeah, which is the most important part. 你说这个旦角啊，这个首先说啊，看戏看的是戏，这什么意思呢？这个戏剧的戏和这个细节的戏是同音的，我们看的是细节。
Yep, so in Chinese, the Chinese opera, which is we call xi, and details we also call xi. They are actually the same, they have the same pronunciation, and so which means that when we are appreciating a Chinese opera play, we're actually appreciating the details of this play.
对，首先什么细节呢？你看，先讲这个旦角，首先来讲，我要介绍说四功五法，这个必须得说是四功，就是唱念做打。无论任何行当，所有一个戏曲演员，无论是京剧还是其他的，就是唱念做打这四个是他基本的四个功，然后我们要注意他的所有细节。
Okay, speaking of the details of the appreciation of opera, there are four categories that the Chinese often.
It's actually these four performance elements. One is the vocal production, one is the stage speech, one is the song, and one is the martial arts part. We need to pay attention to the details of those things. First is the sing. 这个戏是个唱功戏，它的这个旦角的有几个大段的唱，有南梆子，有戏曲慢板，后边还有原版，流水版，后边还有和小生的对唱，都是非常精彩。这是第一。
So speaking of the first element about the song, this is actually a opera which focuses on the singing, and there are different kinds of singing. And for example, like one person or even like different people singing to each other, so that we'll be able to see how they make use of the songs to convey their messages.
对，这个过去就是说这个戏当然这是说对于旦角来说是唱功戏。为什么说呢？就是说过去这个戏能卖票，我们的卖点在哪儿？首先第一是旦角的唱功，我们是冲着梅兰芳的唱功来的。 这是它的第一个卖点。第二个卖点就是这个戏不是念功戏，所以念白在于旦角来讲没有那么重。但是什么重呢？他的表演很重，他的很多细节，比如说老头儿一跟他说我要把你许配给谁，非常羞怯的神情。然后老先生让他去偷去一下，就是一会儿我跟那帅哥谈话，你偷偷看一眼，这一眼就有很多的内容，你不能大方看。 那是我们现在的姑娘，那也不用偷偷看了，直接进去看就行了。她就是那样一打量，然后被她父亲发现的那种不好意思，这种微妙的这种表情是非常值得注意的。
Yeah, and so since this Chinese opera mainly focuses on singing, so we can see so that how well the actors perform are actually based on how well they sing. And of course, some of the other details of how well they perform. For example, there's one plot that when the dad says to the beautiful daughter that, I'm gonna arrange a marriage for you. So the young scholar is gonna come over to our house tonight. Why don't you hide in the corner and just peek at how the young scholar looks. And from this plot, we can observe how the main cast, Xue, she performs her actions, because it's different from nowadays. Nowadays, I'm not gonna say all, but most girls, when you're gonna look at the guy, you just look, right? But in those days, no, they have to hide first, and they have to maybe look a little bit, and then back off a little bit, and then a little bit, So these actions that the actress perform, they actually show the inner feelings of the character.
这个剧，然后除了旦角以外，主要的角色两个丑角，一个是这个他这姐姐啊，长得很丑的一姐姐，还有一个是这个金钱税，就是皇上的亲戚有钱人。你也知道这两个人，就是说我们看戏的人，我们容易把人看他是好人还是坏人，实际上你看了戏就发现，这个人很难区分，你说他是好啊还是坏啊，实际上他是性格是很丰富的，这是人性。你看这俩人呢，其实很有意思，这俩人都很单纯。他们都有善良有趣的一面，也有这个道德包袱，就是道德感比较弱，做出一些这个有违我们常理的事情，但是呢，符合他的性格，他自己的这个做事的风格是这样，所以这个喜剧就出现在这上。
Yeah, and besides the main cast, who is a pure, kind, innocent, and beautiful young girl, and we have two relatively negative characters, and we have the ugly sister, and we also have the relative of the Emperor Serju, who pretends to be Mr. Luji and trying to marry the beautiful daughter. And although they are relatively negative compared to our innocent, beautiful, and pure main cast, Xue, who is the beautiful daughter, but they also have their own characters on the true virtuous side. So we can't judge that whether they are the evil or the good just because of how they compare to our main cast.
对，这个你看啊，这个就拿朱千岁来说，他什么时候哪时候善良，哪时候不善良？他善良，他碰见穆居易，发现他就投军去很穷啊，说给钱就给钱，说给马就给马，这是他很善良、很慷慨的一面。但是他穆居易走了以后，他又动了坏心，让穆居易不结婚了，我去娶他那个漂亮媳妇儿吧。并不是说又不是说这人坏，这人就是道德感弱啊。但是他又有这个，就是一个思想很简单的一个人，和这个大小姐相应程序。
So speaking of, for example, Mr. Ma just gave an example of how we can see the two sides, the good side and relatively evil side of the same character. For example, the Serju, who tries to marry the beautiful daughter, and on the way, you mentioned just now, he actually met the young scholar who was trying to flee, right? And he asked oh, where are we going? And then he was oh, I'm joining the war. And the Serju said, okay, do you have enough money? And the young scholar said, no, I don't. And so then he asked again, do you have enough resources, food, and others? And the young scholar says, no, I don't have anything. And at this point, Serju was oh my gosh, I'm gonna sponsor you. I'm gonna give you the best I can. So that Serju gave him a lot of resources and even a really, really good and healthy horse for him to go to join the war as soon as possible.
Part of it.
Yes, this is the adorable part, but we have the evil part. It's okay, now that I can send you away as soon as possible, I'm gonna marry the young daughter, a beautiful one, as soon as possible. So we see that okay, yeah, we have the evil side. So we can't so this is the A side and the B side actually, right?
Yeah, but the reason is I think that this people he's just too simple. He thinks things too simply. He doesn't think about a lot more. Yeah, that's why he do this. 所以这有意思的就是他前面骄横跋扈，又有钱啊，我怎么都行，我又是皇上亲戚，怎么都行。结果呢，他娶了这个大小姐以后，他发现被管住了，被管制了啊。他前面很狂，后面很怂，你就看这个戏就好看有趣。
So we can see that because Serju, he is the relative of the emperor. So in the first part of the play, we see that he's full of power and he is very he likes to control others and he has lots of servants. But later on, during the second part, because of the war and because of his doesn't really control himself, controls money, and so he goes to bankruptcy. And at that point, he unfortunately marries the ugly daughter, which is another story about it. We'll discuss later on. And at that point, the ugly daughter, she has the power totally over the relative of the emperor Serju. So we can see how the fate of one changes because of the flow of all these events in this Chinese opera.
是，然后这场就是这个 上半场也最好看的，大家一定要注意，这场叫丑配，也叫丑洞房。为什么叫丑洞房？因为我们在最后大结局大团圆的时候还有个俊洞房，俊洞房是两个主角对唱结束一些误会，这时候是丑洞房是最为搞笑的，因为他们俩人一掀盖头发现都不是对方要见的那个人。你想这个250的朱建穗和250大小姐会发生什么？这大小姐也很有意思，她这个就是她对这个事情坦然接受，她发现不是这个，她很快就接受，就是因为这个人想就简单。她前面想嫁给那个漂亮帅哥，也不像她母亲想那么多肮脏的功利的东西，她就是很简单这漂亮我喜欢她，我就要嫁给你，这个我嫁给你也行，你也不错，就是这么一个人，所以这两个人都很可爱。
So this is the most famous scene probably in the whole opera play. So it's called the ugly wedding. And the reason that we say the ugly wedding, for information, some background information, is because in the traditional society, the male and the female, they are not supposed to meet until the moment of their wedding. So that at the moment of their wedding, and both of them discover that each other, they are actually not the one that they want to marry. So this is scary. Now, to us nowadays, to them, same. They are terrified. They are freaked out. But they can't change anything. While the female, the ugly bride, she was oh, I guess that's fine because it's already like this. But the Serju was I don't think this is fine because you're not the one I want to marry. Why don't I send you back? And the ugly daughter, she's actually very clever. She's no, I don't think so because I am the daughter of the government official, and if you send me back, this is gonna destroy your reputation. And then Serju was oh my gosh, this makes sense. That means that we are getting married. And the young daughter says, yes, we are.
非常有意思，他们俩就正好是这个馆上那个。然后咱再说说另外两个配角这个主角的这个美就是唱也好，念也好，想大家明天去仔细感受去欣赏。我今天主要想说另外两个配角，也两个漂亮的主角，我想少谈点，明天你们好好看。两个配角是谁呢？一个这个大太监，一个这大元帅。大元帅、大太监都是什么人物呢？他们都是在朝廷里重要的，你想，一个是大将，另外一个是这个在明朝的时候，大太监他是掌握的很多的很高的权力，所以两个人都是权倾朝野，所以俩人一出场之后，元帅威风八面，大太监骄横跋扈，都是这样。那么后面出现了巨大的反差，也发现了这两个人可爱之处。
So we talk about the first pair. They are not the main cast, and we're gonna leave the details of appreciation of the main cast to you all tomorrow when you're actually watching the opera. And now Mr. Mark's gonna talk about two other people. They are not the main cast, but they they are they have a very big effect in this play because one of them is the marshal who leads the army, and the other one is a close servant to the emperor.
这个拿这大太监来说，这个大家要注意，我们这个担任几位老师也特别好，除了刚才那两位提到的丑角的老师都是非常好的以外，我们演这位周监军的这位老师也是非常好的一位优秀的一位演员。大家要注意，他主要有3个部分是非常精彩的。一个是在路上碰见了这个小伙子的时候，有一大段念白，这个角色主要听他的念白，听他那种嗓音那种哼。
So this part, at first, Mr. Mark's going to talk about the close server of the emperor, and at first when he met the scholar, we see that, he has an attitude, he's very, thinks he's very powerful. Well, he is powerful, but he was trying to show his power to the young scholar, see who's the senior, and you are this low potato. So this is this.
从不晓得建功立业，报效国家。方才令许言道， 名不就，誓不娶妻，真乃是可喜可敬之事。大家有意将他带到大营见公公时，必然动用。大师从个口拜行洞房花烛之礼，我说程大人，你看好是不好呢？
他这种大个人键盘也富有很强的音乐性。
And we see that actually he was like saying a lot of words, but there are also music elements incorporated in his words.
哎，这就是京剧的最大的一个特点，就是叫美声必歌，美动必舞。它的无论是唱还是念，它都是像演唱一样，在那个唱的位置上和它的节奏和它的韵律，然后每个动作都是带有舞蹈性的美。
Yeah, and so this is also one of the main characteristics of Chinese opera, in which 美声必唱 means that while he's singing and he also while he's speaking, he also tries to sing. And then what is the second part?
美动必舞。
美动必舞 is like whenever he moves and he's trying to show a more exaggerated move, you know, like because it's a performance.
Because all the fundamental training they had is all the martial arts part or dancing part. So every single move they move on the stage is actually has the elements of the dancing, and every voice, every song is made. No matter is sing something or just to say something, is actually part of music because they are use the way how to sing, but you can also feel like it's very natural. It's just talking, but it's the way you can sing.
Yeah, it's just like how they express like this art.
Yeah. 然后有意思的是呢，特别好玩的就是到后边，但时间不多了啊，快速结束。到后边呢，就是这个小伙子，他不愿意娶这个什么，但是这几个人都挺熟的，你看这两个大元帅监狱和这个他的岳父都挺熟，他们就还想促成这事儿，而且他们不知道这个中间发生那么多乱七八糟，他还想促成这事儿。你想小生当然不乐意了，然后这个小生就给这两个人气头，两个人呢还不知道怎么回事，就好意的去说服这事儿，所以最后这个在
要走了。
最后就闹出了很多的笑话。
So we see this scene is so we still remember the promise of the young scholar. I'm gonna have achievement and then I'm gonna marry the young daughter. And even up to this point, he still thinks that the young daughter is the ugly one. And now that the war is almost over, and he actually it's the time for him to marry the young daughter, but he's not happy. Like obviously because he knows why, but the other two, like the marshal and the servant, they don't know the reason, what the reason are. So that they're trying to persuade him, like, oh wait, why don't you marry the girl? So this is actually the persuasion scene.
So this is also A side and B side because the young man he was with the younger generation, so he show all his respect to the general or his father-in-law. But at this point, he thought he was the one who is forced to do something he's not willing to do. So now he is at the higher point, and the other people, 就这些掌握权势的人，他们反倒成为这个受气的。然后前面那个受气的年轻的人呢，这会儿反过来，所以又看到这个人在不同的形势下表现出来不同的这个性格，这戏好看的地方，这叫 A 面与 B 面。咱们今天讲的主题很多就是你看这个戏剧，你站在这一个特定的人物的立场上，你会发现他在不同的情况下，他有很大的表现的区别，这种看戏好玩的地方。
Yeah, and here we can see it's interesting and even a little bit sarcastic that the person who's supposed to have less power, the young scholar here, he takes a really firm stance and he was like, I'm not gonna marry the daughter, while the other ones who are actually supposed to be people who have a higher status and they're persuading, even a little bit like begging him to like, oh, you have to marry her, why not? Oh, please marry her. So in this scene we can see the reverse of the social status, and it's actually this relates back to our topic today, like side A and actually side B. We can see how the characteristics and personalities of these characters change through different, through the happening of different events.
就是他不停的举着这俩人，然后呢，俩人那个骑虎难下，也总觉得要促成这事儿。
So here we can see the young scholar keeps refusing them, and the two other guy was like, "Oh wait, why are you refusing us? Like we have to like do this. We're gonna like succeed in making you marry the young daughter."
所以这是好玩的地方。所以我们欣赏喜剧呢，当然欣赏京剧，我还是那句话，就是大家本着美声必歌、美动必舞的原则，欣赏这个戏剧的这个细节，它的唱、它的表演小地方。 作为欣赏这个特定的这个细节而言，它是一个喜剧，我们要注意站在这个每一个人物的立场上，看他前后的这个不同的身份反差。那么这个主要是因为说这个戏要说的事情很多，咱们的时间有限，咱们答应到几点就到几点，咱不要占太多的时间，我还要去看那 NBC News 所以咱们今天就到这里。
So the change of the emotion and the actions of the characters, this is one of the main points for the appreciation of this opera. And because today we don't have enough time is running out, and so I guess this is the end of the lecture.
Yeah, we are going to leave some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, would anyone ask us any question? 有没有什么问题？咱们快速的来问一下。
We do have questions.
Please, next.
What is the significance of the title? What is the phoenix in Chinese?
Phoenix in Chinese.
What is the significance of the title?
凤还巢。凤还巢 is the phoenix. It's mean they are holding the wedding. The wedding is like a love nest. So the love nest should be our main characters in this 选择 should be the person love nest. But at the first part, her stepmother actually took the nest. But actually, it's a good thing because you know what happened. But finally, she liked the phoenix. Why is she like the phoenix? Phoenix is always we see it like very noble, elegant female. The symbol of that. That's what phoenix means in this part.
Because it means something different in Europe.
Yeah. I know about that. That's the difference. Yeah. In Chinese, the Chinese long. I don't like to say dragon because dragon is the monster. But the Chinese long is more more noble of the male character. I was satisfied with that answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's next? 大家有什么问题吗？中英文都可以。
Do we have other questions? They can be both Chinese and English.
Two more questions. Come on. 当然有人要问。我刚其实已经说了，就是两个洞房的对比，新洞房和重洞房。但是我个人在这个戏中最偏爱的角色是一个大太监，因为觉得他最有意思。
This audience is asking what is the most favorite scene or most recommended scene by Mr. Ma for tomorrow's show. And Mr. Ma saying it's actually the ugly wedding we discussed just now, but for Mr. Ma, his
and also the final wedding.
The final wedding.
Just to compare
Oh,
with.
like you mean the end, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 对。包括表情，唱念做打。对。不光是，对他的那个发音要像唱一样，在唱的位置上，然后还要像说话一样自然。你想要既要达到唱的位置，又要达到自然的说话，这是很困难。打。是武戏，这个戏没有武打，但是有的戏有，这是京剧演员的基本素质，包括这个。
刚才说的美中必唱，美中必舞。
美声必歌，美动必舞，就是美声，就是你每一个声音发出来的每个声音都是歌唱。
哎，美声必舞啊，美声必唱。
美声必歌，就是他说像对歌一样。美动必舞，他每一个动作都要舞蹈性。
哦，
不客气。
This question is about whether or not the singing and the performance, we come back to acting, includes the facial expression of the characters. And Mr. Nar responded with a positive answer, like yes, definitely, like how their facial expression is actually together with how their body language is. It's called like the action. So we will. It's better for us to like try to observe how both link to each other when the actors and actresses are performing.
Actually, we had some problem. I need to promote that. Okay. Any other questions? Please, next.
So tomorrow's play is a comedy, right?
Yeah.
And I learned at the press conference that it's unusual. It's pretty rare to have a comedy and an opera play.
I don't want to say that. We have a lot of comedies, but this one, it's a pretty long show, like 2.5 hours. That long comedy we don't have a lot, because that long we mostly have very strict. We have a long history, so a lot of stories. Actually, the real thing happens on history. Most of them are not happy endings, so we don't have that many comedies. But the small comedies we have a lot of.
What's the average time of the opera play normally? The normal.
Normally it's actually 1 hour.
1 hour.
Yeah. So all the things more than 2 hours, yes, we call it 大型的 big show.
Thank you.
因为它是梅先生创编的，所以它是梅派的一个重要的一个剧目。因为对，今天忘了说了一个重要的事儿，我其实想说的就是梅先生的创编剧目有3大类，哪3大类呢？咱以扮相来区分，一类叫时装新面戏，一类叫古装新面戏，一类可以叫传统新面戏。时装新面戏是什么？穿旗袍的，在当时啊，或者是穿其他的现代服装的，有一些戏。武装跟京剧的这个服装不一样，武装在京剧里是一个特殊概念，因为大家知道京剧的这个服装基本是明清服装，尤其是明朝的为主，有一点唐宋的元素，但是很少。但是古装呢是恢复一些其他朝代的用一些其他的服饰的元素，就超出我们京剧的这个大一项、二一项、三一项的范畴，它进行的这样的戏有什么玉女麻呀、黛玉葬花，也有很多。这几个戏的这个侧重是完全不同的。我们呢做梅先生做时装戏的是为了像模仿话剧，像话剧是文明戏这样致敬。他做古装戏呢是为了做出在当时那个年代我要开创出京剧的另一条路。事实上证明梅先生做出了很好的尝试，并且告诉我们这条路是走不通的。因为他的古装戏，他做的大的布景非常豪华，像什么《泰山外传》之类的，他都是用真正的实木的大背景搭出了立体的舞台，舞台上就有像话剧一样的结构，那是甚至出了旋转舞台，非常多的豪华的东西。但是梅先生用实践证明这种东西行不通。但是我们在当今还是看到很多人在不断的重复着梅先生已经证明他不行的作物。然后，但是梅先生当今留下来的梅派的新面戏都是传统扮相戏，无论是凤还巢，还是会不会醉酒，还是霸王别姬，都是秉承着京剧的一贯的传统，然后在京剧的一贯传统的上面进行合理的创新。这是梅先生的3大类创新戏。
This question is about whether or not I'll try to paraphrase. Is about whether or not this opera belongs to one of the classic plays of the May School we discussed about just now. And this is because this is actually tailored for Mr. Meilan, and there are actually 3 categories of plays for Mr. Meilan, and this goes into one of them. And just now Mr. Ma talked about the difference of the 3 main categories. But that's why it's kind of complicated. And for more details, you can definitely go to the website, the Wikipedia, and also other websites for more information. But for now, this is definitely a special play because it's tailored for Mr. Meilan.
大家看，你去搜梅兰芳搜出来，还都是基本能传出来。咱搜出的时装和古装那些戏，基本没有传下来。
So we have actually the categories, we talked about 3 categories Mr. Ma explained, and it's actually the contemporary, the old time, and also the more ancient. And for these are actually the
这个其实不是传统来的。
oh, so this is actually more like a ancient than old time.
More traditional. That's give us some inspiration about how to create things. You know, in the first part of the 20th century, actually there are culture shock in China because you know a lot of things happened at that time and all the wars, all the counter things. But at that time, most of the people are trying to break something. We want to make the culture exchange, which we are also working on that today. But how to create things, that's a huge topic. Should we just abandon everything? We just create the brand new thing? That's actually impossible because when you create something, you basically need to be based on your background knowledge. And you have to base on something. So at that time, Mabin tried 3 ways to create new styles of picking opera. Actually, in the end, the history proved that the best way is the most most conservative way to do that. So that's the inspiration I got from Mabin. Okay, that's my speech today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Also, please take a look at our news on MBC about Ms. Xiao Li. And thank you so much.
And everything about the peak opera and the cultural exchange thing, I would love to talk about that with you guys. So keep contact with us. Thank you.